Good morning, everyone. Today is March 24th, 2017, and we are now opening up the California Board of Accountancy meeting here at the Westin LAX. And we're going to go ahead and start with a roll call, starting with Mr. Famila.
Present.
State your name.
You get to state your name.
George Famila.
Jose Campos.
Alicia Burhow.
Michael Savoy.
Mark Silverman.
Deirdre Robinson. Carrie Ann Farrell Hines.
Sunny Youngson Park. Katrina Salazar.
Kathleen Wright.
Sochi Leon.
Thank you. So we are going to go ahead into our petition hearing with Mr. Gary Metzler, and this is a petition for reinstatement for a surrendered certificate. And we'll go ahead and turn it over to Judge Cohn.
Okay, thank you. My name is Judge Eileen Cohn with the Office of Administrative Hearings. We're in the matter of the reinstatement of Gary C. Meltzer, that's M-E-L-T-Z-E-R. That's OAH case number 2017-02-0926, agency case number SI 2017-60. Is Mr. Meltzer present?
I am.
Okay, thank you. At the appropriate time, we'll swear you in. You haven't been through this before, and just before we even make the appearances, I'll let you know the agencies will go first, and then you'll have an opportunity, and I'll swear you in to make a statement. Okay, so the parties can make their appearances.
Thank you, Your Honor. Deputy Attorney General Carl, C-A-R-L, Sonny, S-O-N-N-E, appearing on behalf of the people of the state of California pursuant to Business and Professions Code, Section 5115. I'd like to, at this time, mark for identification, Your Honor, Exhibit 1, which is the original petition of Mr. Gary Meltzer. It's comprised of 18 pages with the accompanying documentation. They have been numbered GCM-PET-001 to PET-018. The board has copies of these pages, I believe, and the witness also has a copy. So I'd like to just offer at this time a brief summary of the case. This matter involves the petition for reinstatement of a CPA certificate that was voluntarily surrendered effective October 3rd, 2013. The original certificate, 89173, was issued on May 10th, 2004. The surrender was not pursuant to any discipline. And this matter, Your Honor, includes documentation of continuing education and other associated documents. At this time, Your Honor, I'd like to offer in as Exhibit 1 into evidence.
Okay. Now, Exhibit 1, I have it marked as Exhibit 1 and 2. I have Exhibit 1 as Petition 1 through 2, and then Exhibit 2, pages 3 through 8. Did you want it as one exhibit?
I
would
prefer that it just be 1 through 18, and I would note that the court has been, Your Honor's been presented with the original petition page, which has Mr. Meltzer's identifying information and address. The copy that will be made a record is redacted with that information removed. But I would just assume make it all one exhibit, Your Honor.
So you want one exhibit for pages 1 through 18?
Correct.
Okay, because there's still a page 19. Okay.
And what's your page 19, Your Honor?
My page 9 is a petition for reinstatement of surrendered certificate. That's the notice. It's like a jurisdictional thing. I don't know if you need that.
We can make that 19. Is that the unredacted version?
It's just the petition with, yeah, it has his address on it, which we can redact if someone has a question.
Okay. Well, we'll certainly make that 19. My copy doesn't have 19 on it, but that's
Okay.
fine.
Ours doesn't either.
You don't have 19
Nope.
on it? Okay, so I'll remove my page 19
Okay.
if you don't
I
need
think it must be
it. So Exhibit 1 through
18?
18. Is there any objections from the respondent, from the petitioner? Do you have any objections, Mr. M. Meltzer? To the,
I do not.
Okay, so the pages 1 through 18 are admitted. 19 is removed from my packet. Oops, just forget they're probably checking on the court reporter. Let me take the sound off. I'll just let it go. Okay, so now, is there any opening?
There's an issue over here.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I just realized I have a conflict, so I'm gonna have to step out of the room.
All right then. Thank you, Mr. Famularo.
Okay, so who stepped out?
George Famularo.
So there's been no substantive testimony at this point, or we just submitted the document. Is there any issue that you think there's a problem because he was in for about 3 minutes?
No, I don't
Yeah.
envision any consequence.
Okay, and I don't think there's,
For that moment.
and you don't have any problem with him stepping out at this point, Mr. Meltzer?
I do not.
Okay, great. Okay, move forward.
So, Your Honor, we would move to admit Exhibit 1.
Exhibit 1 is admitted.
Okay. And then, Your Honor, we could have the witness sworn in.
Yes, okay. You raise your right hand. Do you swear under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, so you can begin your testimony.
Why don't I just frame it as a question, because I think his testimony, my question will probably dovetail.
Okay, so that would be actually more helpful to him.
Okay. Mr. Meltzer, could you just briefly describe the reason for both the voluntary surrender of your certificate and the reason for your petition here today?
Thank you. I had been working on a client relationship from 2004 to the time that I surrendered, or shortly there before, in California. And after I finished that client assignment, it was unlikely that I was going to work in California, having been based in New York. So 3 years ago, as we were kind of going through all the different CPA licenses that I had, I made the decision to allow or to surrender my California CPA license. As you're probably aware, the situation now allows for you to have practice rights in different states. And when I did that in 2004, it was best for me to actually become a California CPA, which I did. I have been asked by my firm to relocate to California and become the managing partner of our firm here in California, which requires me to have my CPA license in the state in which I'm going to be based. So although I have my active New York and New Jersey CPA licenses, it is required for me, as I'm aware, to reinstate and have my license active and valid in the state of California. As we were discussing prior to beginning the hearing, possibly we didn't go about this the right way when I allowed it to surrender in 2013, and it may have been better to lapse or to go inactive or to do something else. So I apologize for taking the time of the board today to hear my situation, but that is what happened. I just didn't think I would ever have a reason to use my license again in California, but now I find myself in a position where I absolutely do need my valid license in the state of California.
I have no further questions at this time, Your Honor. I'll have a brief closing comment or closing statement, but I have no questions.
Okay, now I'll turn it over to the board, and I'll ask the president to organize those questions. If anyone has any questions, raise their hand for the board president.
Well, we'll go ahead and start with Mr. Campos.
No questions.
I have no questions at this point. Mr. Savoy?
No questions.
Mr. Silverman?
None.
Ms.
None at
Robinson?
this time.
No questions.
No questions.
No question.
No questions.
Well, that was it. There you go.
Okay, so we know there's no questions.
There are no questions.
So if you would like to make a closing statement, Mr. Sullivan.
Yeah, just briefly, as this matter is at least unique in the 6 years that I have been before the board on various matters, and we do not recommend at this time on behalf of the people that any probation term be applied to this matter, that the license, based on the circumstances and evidence given by Mr. Meltzer, should be reissued upon verification by staff that his continuing education is appropriate and in compliance, and that any and all fees that may be due upon reinstatement are paid. But we would recommend that it be issued forthwith.
Okay, just to clarify, so you're saying his license can be issued forthwith, but then it would be subject to him working with the board staff to make sure he's completed all his continuing education and paid his fees.
Yeah, that could be simply framed that it be issued forthwith upon verification of compliance with continuing education and payment of any associated
Okay.
fees.
Okay. Do you have any closing statement, Mr. Meltzer?
I guess my only question would be in terms of what the timing generally is after the close of the hearing, in terms of a decision being issued.
Mr. Meltzer has explained to me prior to the meeting that his relocation situation is somewhat exigent in timing, and that he is requesting that if there is any way that the board at its convenience can expedite the issuance of its decision, that would be of material benefit to Mr. Meltzer in light of his circumstances.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and it's something we can discuss in closed session?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, with that, any other questions at this point?
Nope.
So with that, as a matter will be submitted, and the record is closed, and thank you for your participation.
Thank you very much.
Okay. And at this point, we'll go into,
Yeah, so at this point, we are going to be going back into closed session pursuant to Government Code 11126C3. The California Board of Accountancy will convene into closed session to deliberate the above petition. All right. California Board of Accountancy meeting is now back on the record from closed session. At this point, our business is concluded for the day, and we are adjourned.